What's going on YouTube? Florida Man Knobs here, and today I've got another unboxing, and this one, as you can see by the title, is going to be related to this Buck 110 that I have here in front of you. And I am really excited about this because if you watch my channel, you will know that I am a fan of vintage knives in general, and specifically I have featured my dad's vintage Buck 110, and this right here would make a great counterpart for that. So I'm going to be just briefly going over this. I'll do some more videos on it, but I did buy this knife used. This is of course going to be the Buck 112. This is an old sheath for it. I don't know if that's the original sheath or not, because this knife right here was made from 1976 to 1980. That range, I believe, maybe it was 74. I'd have to double check the chart for the dates, but all right, so I did actually double check the chart because that was bothering me, and it is 1974 to 1980, and that is designated by the one dot on either side of the 112, and if this was a Buck 110, it would be exactly the same. A lot of the symbols in the later years are just designated to one specific year, such as this one right here for 2021, but I digress. This right here, as you can see, is a basically shrunk down version of the Buck 110. I still do get a full 4-finger grip with my extra large hands on it, and just in general, you know, a vintage piece definitely has shown some wear and some patina. Again, I did get this used at a very good price, at least in my opinion, and was not necessarily something that I needed to have in the collection, but I've always had an interest in them, and I've had a few people comment regarding the Buck 112 on my Buck 110 videos. And so, you know, I'm happy to have one in the collection, and I'm happy to be able to make a couple of videos on it in the future. I do want to say the ergonomics on this are actually extremely comfortable, like very, very comfortable. And, you know, maybe it's because it's such a thick knife for being so short, but yeah, that's kind of funny. I don't really know how to further explain that. Maybe it thickens up a little bit more in the rear portion. I'm not sure, but it just feels a little bit more substantial. Oh, I'm seeing now why. Okay, so paying more attention, you can see that the edges right here are squared off on this 112, and compare that to my new 110, excuse me. You can see that these corners are much more rounded off, which generally speaking would be a little bit more comfortable, but because these are squared off, you know, it fills out the hand a little more. So, you know, I will say this is definitely a more comfortable grip on the 110 with the rounded handles, but that is the reason I was noticing this feeling a little bit thicker in hand. So, of course, you've got the brass bolsters there, the ebony wood. This is the version with the pins exposed, which, to be honest with you, I don't even know if they had that as an option back then. And yeah, this just a really cool vintage piece. Definitely very dull, relatively speaking, to all the other knives in my collection, so I'll have to sharpen this thing up quite a bit, which is okay. I can always use some practice on my sharpening skills, or lack thereof. And don't really think this will be getting too much more of a patina, at least not in the near future as I own it, because to be honest with you, don't think I'll be using this knife too much. This is more just a knife for my collection, I'll be honest with you, but still a very cool one at that. So again, I'll be making some more videos on it in the future, but in the meantime, I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments below about this thing. Perhaps if you have any thoughts on the Buck 112 versus the Buck 110. Do you have a Buck 112 yourself? This is the first one I've ever handled, actually, to be honest with you. So that is really cool for me. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.